Hey, are we on? We're on? I think I'm hooked up this week. I hooked up. Hey, everybody. How you doing? I made it out here. Zazoo Plazz, Leslie Pivotal Classic. Zazoo Plazz, at your service. I'm pretty bundled up. I got my hat. I'm out of the schoolyard here. I think it's a full moon, but it's kind of cloudy tonight. November 26th? Yes, Sunday night, like around, I don't know what it is, 9 o'clock, just after 9 p.m. I made it out. I'm showing up, such as it is. Oh, God. My weekly Zazoo report. Let me turn the lantern on. I think I'm alone out here. I don't even care. Whoops. Oh, there we go. So I walk in the valley of the dark schoolyard. I'm not afraid. So, yeah, it's been a big weekend. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I heard this thing on the radio today. I'm like, the first time it was funny, and then the subsequent 5 times that the radio repeated the little bit, it was not funny. And then it became obvious to me that it was pre-recorded. So I'm like, even radio is pre-recorded now? There's like no live DJ there? She said something about, enjoy your eating, your shopping, your, you're watching, and basically you're consuming. And don't worry, you don't have to wear jeans anytime soon, was the bit. And I thought, really? You're just gonna sit there in your pajamas and your sweatpants and be a slob? It was not a Gen X kind of thing. It was just like, really? It was the Gen X station, but it's like, really? Because, that doesn't work for me. I don't know. I'm pretty proud of myself. When I reduce my consumption, I feel better. I just feel good. I had 3 pairs of pants I had to return to Savers this week. I brought 2 back, got 2 that fit, and 1 still, now I have to go back a 3rd time. Because they don't give you cash for your returns. So you got to keep going back till you find, pants that fit. So jeans are hard enough to fit in the first place, So once you get your size, you got to, you know your size. You got to stick to it. I'm losing my voice because I went to my 40th high school reunion last night. Hi, anybody who might be watching, who was, curious, after I got up and talked about my book, Zazoo Plazz, The Audacious Adventures of Zazoo Plazz, part-time superhero, full-time mom, available on Amazon. And yes, I will be writing another book. I just need to get myself in. I need to set my foundation, like the cornerstone, and then I can build from there. So, it's been an unusual 4 years or almost 4 years, 3 years since I wrote the book. So, I've been doing this, and I've been on social media, writing my little stories and sharing them with people on the Gen X websites and throughout, I pop up all over the place. So, plus just daily life, I got kids, the kids still in college. I came home this weekend. I was late to the reunion because I couldn't get out of my driveway because there were 2 kids with shaved heads and piercings underneath a car, in my garage, working on some car. And then they all came in. There were like 3 of them when I got back. They made sugar cookies. 20-year-olds. And, they made sugar, like the slice and bake ones, but they didn't cook them enough, so they kind of came out a little pale looking. But that's the way they liked them, like almost raw. So they're eating sugar cookies and they're playing with Legos. Like, they're having the best time and giggling and laughing and like, I'm like, that's cool. So I finally made it to the reunion, and it was hard. It's hard to find that place. It's way up this, out of the way place up the mountain, and all these back roads and stuff. So I got Google Maps sending me all over the place that way, and I'm like, and then on the way out, I had a classmate follow me out, because he hasn't been around. He didn't know the area. So, and I guess his phone wasn't working or something. So I hope he found his way home, because she sent me on a roundabout way, and it actually ended up hooking up with the Manchester Road Race, big running race that we have every Thanksgiving here in North Central Connecticut. I'm just going to do this because the wind is so bad tonight. I am just going to lean this against the fence, snuggle it up against my lantern so that I can talk, because this is too much. It's very windy out here. So I hope he found his way home. He was following me. No, my minivan was the last one out of the parking lot. Okay, so I'm gonna, I lost my sticky note. Shoot. Oh no, there it goes. There it goes. It's gone. It's gone. Uh-oh. Oh well, I'm gonna have to do it without. I'm gonna have to go look for that later. I think it's, whatever. It was just a blank sticky note. So Ezekiel today. I'm starting with the readings here, and then I'll work everything in. Shit. There's people out here. I don't think anybody's going to be out here tonight except me. Anybody crazy enough? All right. So Ezekiel, prophet, first reading today. Lord, Jesus is King is the basic theme for this last week. And then we go into Advent, the season of preparation for Jesus to be born. It's Christmas. So, it's always, every year, it's a dark, dark time. That's why I don't even like to put my tree up until like the first week in December. I go around, I see everybody's got going to get their tree and stuff. I don't know. For some reason, I need November to be done and packaged and away and, put away the Thanksgiving linens. I just can't get in the spirit. And it's because, if you really read the readings, it's, it's dark. It's the Lord is my shepherd, walking in dark. He keeps me on right paths. He spreads my table in the sight of my foes, my cup over, the anointing my head, my cup overflows. That's the time of year. It's like, God's getting serious. He's separating Matthew 25 here, the gospel reading. We've got, Jesus separating the sheep, the sheep from the goats. So I guess the sheep, usually traditionally the sheep are white, fluffy, innocent little, passive kind of creatures that just sort of, meander. I saw some sheep today when I was out looking at an apartment, and I was in a town not too far from here, and I saw some little sheep. Isn't that funny? They were just sort of, browsing along. And then earlier this year, my minivan broke down near Yukon, going to pick up my kid. And there's some goats, and they're like, looking at me. I posted pictures on there. They're like causing trouble. Goats like to eat stuff, they like to butt heads and just kind of, that's Capricorn. Capricorn's the goat, just kind of making its way, kind of slow and, but steady and, kind of pushing ahead. That's Capricorn. And then you've got the sheep, that's kind of like, the ram is Aries. And that's kind of like the new life in the spring, right? So it's kind of like God saying, well, if you accept me, if you accept this new kingdom, this new way of life, then you'll be blessed. Otherwise, you're gonna go down with the goats. You're gonna. It's kind of like the whole Santa thing. It's leading up to that. You better be good, or else kind of time of year. That's the way I see it. Dwelling in the house of the Lord, we have these, the mighty will fall, all these images of polarization. It's always getting worse. It's, definitely, you're in there's two camps, right? So, but, it's interesting. It's not hopeless because, the readings say today, the Psalm, well, actually, no, it's Matthew 25. That if you see someone in need, right? Or what it really means is to be alert to ways that you can evolve, personally by stepping up, your game, by keeping your energy at a high enough level. It doesn't mean that you have to do anything. What it does mean is you have to radiate a high enough energy so that you naturally, lift yourself above and over these obstacles, not just banging your head against the wall like me trying to find the partner. I'm getting to the point where, I'm going to have to find a place by mid-January. But I'm thinking, you know what? I think it's just the timing is wrong. Because if you're pushing and struggling and stuff, that's not for me the right way to live. So I'm having faith. I'm walking in the dark valley thinking I'm going to be like the song of the day. I'm going to be sleeping on the floor somewhere. But even so, you have to have faith that what's right for every one of us will, be waiting for us, right? So you kind of have to see what's right in front of you. Live in the present, and you see someone in need, right? Help them, because in so doing, you're going to be helped, right? So you see someone in need is what I've always learned. It's really Jesus in disguise saying, "Here's an opportunity. There's somebody else out there. That's the way I kind of look at it. Like I was at my reunion this weekend, and it was great to see some of these people I haven't seen in so long. And everybody had a good time. We had, there was a DJ, we danced, we had nice food, we had a little buffet and some, hors d'oeuvres, nice food and good conversation, and all the stories being told, things coming out in the open, like how everybody had this Mrs. H for chemistry. This lady, she had big thick glasses, and she was very just very dry. And so, but she was not a good teacher, because we all started out really curious about chemistry, and then everybody I talked to, all these smart kids, they're like, I was failing chemistry. Now, I'm not the only one. It was the only subject in my entire academic career where I ever got a D on a test, or I was actually afraid that I wasn't going to pass, and I ended up with an A because I found a kid who in the class ahead of me who was like a chemistry genius, and had already had her class the year before, and so he ended up tutoring me, and then he was good at playing the Spanish guitar, so I ended up writing about him for the school paper, So I got an article out of it, and then he took me to his senior prom and my junior prom, and I got to hang out with these older kids, which was kind of cool. So, when you hear these stories, and one of my classmates was like, I was afraid to ask for a tutor, that my parents were going to kill me if I failed the class, and this is Gen X. I said, I was too, but I didn't make a big deal about it. I saw an opportunity to, kill two birds with three birds, I guess. Anyway, that's how this is how you operate. You have to be creative, right? And they voted me most creative in my class. So I put up 2 books. Zazoo Plazz. And our class needed money to pay for some of our expenses. So I said, okay. So I donated 2 books, and some people, the principal bought quite a few tickets, and he ended up winning a book. And another guy from our class won the other book. So it's ironic. My book, which some people have said is just a woman's book, is not, okay, it's not a book just for women. We superheroes, we're across the board, My book is not just for women. In fact, I think more men have read it than women at this point. So it's for everybody, right? We all wear a lot of hats. We're all doing, juggling and doing, my classmates, they're caring for, parents who might be sick, elderly parents. They got kids in their 20s, they're trying to, and they were trying to do our jobs, to make a living, and because we're going to be working forever. So, but we're starting to talk about things, things that we really, really have always wanted to do. One girl, high school kids, one kid, she told me she wanted to take her trip to Ireland. So like that, she knows exactly where she wants to go, and I admire that. But all I want to do is my Zazoo stuff, and wherever that takes me, I may even just stay here and just take little trips, and which I think is probably what I'm going to do. Stay close, live simply, and save my money for adventures. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do. How that's going to look, I don't know right now. And talking to my classmates, they're like, "Oh, well, where are you going to live?" I said, "I don't know." I don't know. They're like, "What do you mean you don't know?" I don't know. Depends how many books I sell. So I had to get up there. They handed me the mic, and I had to get up and promote myself, which I'm never really comfortable doing. If I know that somebody, people want me there and they want to hear me talk about my book, fine. I could do that. I just really want to write books. I don't want to sell books. I want people to buy them so that I can continue to write and do this. But I hate asking for, I need a marketer. If you know anybody out there who's good at marketing books, tell me. I can publish them, but I just need somebody to get them out there. Oh, it's raining. Okay, so it's raining and I didn't bring my umbrella. Okay, so whatever. So I'll make it short. So, there's this whole theme of darkness, of helping, of walking in the dark, of just not knowing where you're going. So I thought the song of the week should be just kind of I thought of the sheep on the one side and the goats on the other, and on either side of me, and I thought, stuck in the middle with you. So this was a song for you younger Gen Xers. Stealers Wheel. I guess I didn't know this either. I was like 7 at the time. This song was released. Not even 1972. I was 6. So these Scottish guys, Jerry Rafferty and Joe Egan, 1972. It got up to number 6 on the Hot 100. Steelers Wheel from their album, Stuck in the Middle with You. I guess it was like at one of those music industry parties, you know. But it could be like, you know, if you go to an office Christmas party or a holiday party, or you know, you're somewhere. This time of year, we have a lot of those gatherings. You know, you're at a work party. Reunions, you know, class reunions aren't really like that because, you know, in our class we realize that we have something special, being from a Catholic school, and a lot of us, you know, feel there's a warmth there. There's a united sort of sense of purpose, you know, because we all, you know, brought up to be good, like do good things, you know, and we're good people. So, you know, I think it's just more like one of those parties that, you know, you get stuck going to for work, you know, and you got clowns on one side, jokers on the other. Maybe you have, you know, the big wigs on the one side, and then the people who are just trying to use you, and, you know, because if you're successful, then you have, you know, so in the video, the original video, there's like a guy trying to eat a rubber chicken, and some guy in a top hat trying to eat spaghetti, you know, so basically it was a parody of Bob Dylan's voice, of his style, you know. It was not written by Bob Dylan, it had nothing to do with him, but it was a parody. And so in 1995, the Jeff Healey Band, that's the song, that's the one I'm doing, he did a cover of it. Now, if you're not familiar with the Jeff Healey Band, he was a Gen Xer from Canada, 66 he was born. And he passed away from sarcoma, which is some kind of cancer, bone cancer or something. And let's see, 2008 at 41, 2007 or 8, 41. Yeah, 41. Yeah, so that was really sad. I remember he did that song Angel Eyes. He was really popular back in the mid to late 80s to mid 90s. You know, he had a devoted following. He lost his eyes. He actually had his eyes removed when he was like 1 year, you know, a baby. And so he used to play the guitar on his lap. And I remember when he came out, you know, and I really liked his stuff. I think I bought one of his cassettes or a CD. No, it was a cassette. It might have been one of those single stick things. Because I loved Angel Eyes. There were a few hits that he had there for a while. And he had a great voice, and he was so talented. You know, and you just kind of, you know, you had to look at him. He just sort of, he was a very, you know, magnetic presence. Because he was, you know, so into his music, right? He wasn't distracted like a lot of people. He just showed up and played his songs, you know. He was passionate. You have to have that kind of one single-minded passion, no matter what, you know. So I found out, I went to his website, next year they're coming out with a documentary on his life, 2024 they say, maybe. But it was really good to listen to his music again, because I had, you know, kind of forgotten about him. But, you know, it's, I think that's why music is so important in my life, you know. It really helps, you know, some people are into movies more, TV. I'm really a music person. I can interpret spiritual things through music, and that's, you know, pop culture and things like that. It kind of comes together for me, and it's yeah, they say music soothes the savage beast. You know, it's that whole thing I've always wondered about. Like, you know, when I'm going somewhere, I'm trying to concentrate, why do I turn down the radio? Does that help me see better? Does anybody else do that, or is it just me? Because I did that. Like, oh, I gotta concentrate. I turn the radio on. Well, I mean, it's mostly ads anyway. But, so this was quite a weekend. I talked way more than I should have because I was talking to the class. And all of a sudden I started losing my voice. But I did get up there and I really surprised myself. Because, if you can promote your self-published book in front of your biggest critics, I'm not saying they're friends, but your own peers, right? Even Jesus knew this. When he was home, with people that he knew, they didn't, they thought he was, that's Joseph and Mary's son. What's he talking about? That's so-and-so. Oh yeah, that's the kid I went to middle school with. That's the kid who, used to get in trouble or whatever. And now he's out talking about Jesus. Who's this joker? Who's that clown? Who's that clown who thinks that she's... What is she talking about? Standing out in the schoolyard. Well, God's messengers come in strange, forms. So if you hear something that resonates with you and it looks like, it's a very unlikely source, well, maybe you need to, adjust your glasses or your goggles, because you might be seeing some weird stuff coming from some unlikely places. And, it's not going to be like the traditional, media, the traditional ways that we used to get news, So you gotta pay attention. You gotta go out in your backyard and jump around. Gotta listen to some music that stirs your soul. You gotta reach out, connect with some people that really make you, remember and know how good life is. Because you got friends and, all 16 people in our class. And when you get to be 58, I know this sounds like, I don't know how this sounds, but it's just a number. It's just, you're just on the path, and all of a sudden you're like, you're raising your kids, and then you look around, you're like, that guy's got me routine. It's true. You look up and you look around, and you've accumulated a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom, and and then you kind of need to take a little break instead of rushing into the next thing, and figure out who it is that you are and what it is that you want, and go for that, because now's the time. And I hope that's the message that I brought last night when I went, trying to tell everybody, how awesome life is, and we have a bright future ahead of us, and we have some good times in the past too, and let's look at those, and let's treasure those, and treasure our today, and make the most of it, and do some good. Show them what Gen X is made of. We're awesome. So now that I'm getting whipped around and freezing, I got split pea soup from the freezer that I got to heat up because I didn't get to cook this weekend. I've been running around, but I think I need to go home and get some sleep and eat some split pea soup, and I'll be good. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back next week with another edition of the Zazoo Plazz report, and it's going to be colder next week probably. But okay, so go out, make it a great week. If you celebrate, go get your Christmas tree, put it up, decorate, bring some joy. It's the season. Tis the season. So until next week, take care. Bye-bye.